Hey everyone. So I'm back again with another update video, and the first part of this video I'm going to try to continue on with my holiday haul video. There's a little extra stuff that hadn't arrived in the mail yet that I wanted to show in the last video but didn't. So the first part of this video will be about that, and later on I'll get into some other stuff. But for now, the first thing I want to show is this book by David Attenborough. It's called Life Stories, and in the last video I showed that I had a DVD titled the same thing, and that was a little different than I thought it was gonna be, but it still was a fun thing to watch. And I have actually a follow-up to this book. I'd had it for a few years already, and I've been looking for this one for quite a while, and it's really hard to find. I actually had to order this from the UK, and I found it at Amazon from a used bookseller in the UK for like $6 with shipping, and it was a pretty good deal. So I'm looking forward to reading this when I get the chance, and I think it looks pretty cool. There are some stories in here that look pretty interesting, and I look forward to giving them a try. In addition to that, there's a few other things. Something that came in the mail is this interesting sheet of hollow foil material. Now, this is something I've been wanting to try to find a good analog for a while, like in just little random stores or Walmart or like gift wrap department stuff. And I haven't really been able to find something that's quite like this. They've always got some sort of speckle pattern on it or whatever, and I was never able to just find the rainbow film by itself, unaltered. And what's neat about this is it's actually double-sided. So you can stick this underneath clear pieces and have the sticker lay behind it with the clear part like that on front of it, and you'll get that same shiny effect with the translucence of the clear piece. And so then, if you wanted to, you could actually apply a light coating of the clear paint or something to tone the effect a little certain way if you wanted. But I don't know exactly what I want to use this stuff for, but I have had some ideas floating around for a while, and maybe they'll work and maybe they won't, but all in all, this was like not that much money to buy this, so I figured I'd give it a shot. And lastly, in terms of mail, I received this Gaia Color EX06 transparent UV paint. Now, in the last video I showed that I acquired a different kind of transparent UV paint from a different manufacturer, a different paint maker. This stuff is quite a bit different than that, but it is essentially compatible with it. It's also a lacquer, and it's thinnable. You can spray it through your airbrush. In fact, this stuff looks almost ready to be sprayed through an airbrush. And under a black light, this glows a nice, bright, bluish white color. And you can apply this stuff to clear pieces or to regular colors or whatever, and it will add interesting effects to whatever you add it to. So I'm looking forward to giving this a try when I can get around to painting again. But I'll talk more about that later. And the other couple of things I got here from just sort of like holiday gift to myself type stuff are a couple more PlayStation 3 games I got for super dirt cheap. First one, God of War 3. Been wanting to play this ever since I first saw it. I've played God of War 1 and 2 for PlayStation 2, and it was only $2 or something. It was like $3 maybe. And then I got Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots. And this is like $5, so $8 for two really, really good games that I've been wanting to play for a long time. And I'm happy to have them. So then, well, wait, there was one more thing that came in the mail. I've almost forgot, actually. That would be the Master Grade New Gundam version Ka. Ever since I got the Sazabi version Ka for the holidays last year, I've been trying to find a good deal on this guy, or to try to find it in any of my local hobby shops. and to no avail. But I was looking on Amazon recently, and I saw that they were selling this for 65 bucks with free shipping. And just the yen price is 70 bucks, roughly. So then you'd have to pay shipping on top of that. So I basically got a slight discount on this guy. And it looks fantastic. I know the box is a little worse for wear, but everything looks good inside, and I'm pretty anxious to get started on this thing whenever I get around to it. But I also found something else that can go with this guy. On eBay, I spotted an auction for these clear fin funnel effect parts. And it was one of the first auctions I'd ever really bid on eBay. So I was pretty excited to win these. And they'll definitely look really cool displayed with the new Gundam when that's all built and done and ready. This is enough for 6 fin funnels. There's 12 individual cutouts, so you know there'll be 2 for each fin funnel. Shouldn't have any troubles with that, and I think that'll look really cool. So that's primarily the good stuff I have to talk about here. The rest is a little less happy. I recently and very suddenly was becoming aware that one of my favorite local hobby shops, where I buy a ton of my paints and tools and stuff, is going out of business, actually. And they were having a going out of business sale a couple days ago, actually. And so I stopped in there and sort of walked around the place, explored some of the areas I'd never been in before, looked around, and just tried to pick up all the things that I knew I would really want and save them before they got taken or sold off to somebody else or whatever. And even though I got off with some pretty cool stuff here, it's still really bittersweet to see this place go, because it's been one of the core places I go to acquire the paints and materials I need to complete my projects. And I may have other options. There's one more shop sort of in my area that I can go to for this stuff, but it's not as good. And I know I can probably find some of this stuff online, but it's just, you know, the death of this place that you come to almost think of as like your own little hangout or something. The place itself, the environment, the people, the whole thing. And it's just kind of sad to see it go. You know, they'll be around for a while until they actually sell everything off, which should be for maybe about another month. But I wanted to get in right away and make sure that I got my hands on all the stuff that was most important to me. And so I have a bunch of stuff to show off here. I suppose I'll start with this. In the last video I showed that I had gotten a couple India ink pens. Usually they're used for illustration, but they can also be used for panel lining. And I've got this 0.2 millimeter tip, and that should be good for certain like raised sections of armor where, you know, it's not actually a grooved in line that you're putting the ink into. It's more like a surface detail that has an edge. Anyway, they are good for that sort of thing. And you can see that tip is pretty tiny. Believe it or not, they get even smaller than this, but those sizes were all sold out. So I just bought one of these just to see if it would work the same as the other ones I picked up, and I think this should work just fine. I also got this little clay sculpting tool, but I'm not going to use it for clay. I think what this would be nice for is sculpting putty. Like this part especially down here is sort of like a curved, smoothed, almost spoon-like appendage that I can use to probably smooth out my coats of putty if I ever need to fill seam lines again or something like that, and that should be useful for that. It was only a couple bucks, so I figured it really wouldn't hurt to buy it. I have a lot of other paint type stuff. But first of all, I found that they had some Tamiya extra thin cement. I'm running out of my Testors thin cement, so this came around just in time. It's also got the little tiny brush on there, which will be helpful. And I hear this stuff is really good for removing seam lines, so I hope to make good use of that too. Also, there are a couple of Tamiya sandpapers here. I've got the 600 grit and the 1500 grit, which is mostly like for polishing, and there's 3 sheets in each of these, and it's good to have these stocked up. Now that I got these, I think my sanding will turn out a little better. One of the tools I picked up, one of the last tools I got here, is this P cutter, this panel lining scriber tool. And I actually had this on my Christmas list, but didn't get it. And I was thinking about ordering it online, but then I thought I remembered seeing this at the hobby shop, and then I went and saw it, and it was still there. So I was really happy that this was still around, and I grabbed this, and I really look forward to giving this a try for, like basically when I'm removing seam lines and stuff, I'm probably going to end up removing a bit of surface detail on some parts, and this is good for just re-scribing those lines back in so they look better. And it should work nicer than either a hobby knife or a little pin or dental tool, which I've been using thus far. Picked up some Testors lacquer thinner. I use a lot of lacquer paints for different varieties, like clad, or actually, I've got some lacquer primers here from Testors that this will work with. Typically, I have used the store-bought lacquer thinners, and they have seemed to work fine on my old airbrush and everything, but I might want to be a little more careful if I'm going to be using this stuff in my new airbrush. I just want to be sure that I'm not like purposely ruining anything. So having this type of lacquer thinner on hand might be a little better for the integrity of the brush. I don't know. If any of you know if there's a real significant difference or not, I mean, you can let me know. But I've read a few different things on the matter, and some say it does matter, some say it doesn't matter which you use, if you use store-bought or more hobby type. Again, it was cheap and on sale, so I rescued it. And picked up this Russian Armor Green Testors paint. It's an enamel, but I think I might have a use for a color like this sometime in the future. It was one of the few paints left. Most of it had been picked off, but I thought this looked nice, and I think I have a use for this eventually. And I got a couple of these pearl powder pigment things. And what you can do for airbrushing is stick these into some kind of a clear top coat and spray that lightly over something, I don't know what, like clear pieces or over the whole body of the kit. In fact, if you mix the pigment enough into the clear top coat, and if you spray that over top of gloss black, you can actually achieve certain metallic effects with these paints. And I look forward to giving this a try at some point. I've heard about this stuff for a long time. This is a sort of plastic polish liquid. I remember seeing videos since I first started YouTube and Gunpla about this stuff to like clean pieces or make them real shiny and everything. And most recently I've seen a tutorial on how to use this stuff to clean up overspray if your masking fails. And that looked pretty cool. It also helped repair a lifted decal disaster that a certain somebody encountered in one of their videos. I saw this stuff here for years and I thought, maybe I don't need it, but then I saw the tutorials and thought I'd better get it while I have the chance, and I think I can put some good use to this. In fact, I think this stuff actually works really well for cleaning and polishing up clear plastic. So this might serve as almost like a surrogate clear top coat for clear pieces or something. I'm sure I'll find something I can use this for eventually. Speaking of clear top coats, I found another bottle of the Aqua Gloss Clear that I have used in some of my other projects. I have barely taken that bottle down even a notch with all that I've been using with it, but I figured if I ever need it again someday, it might be hard to get hold of, and again, just to try to help to support the store one last time and to get it for a little cheaper than normal, I figured I'd get it and grab it while I could. So I'll definitely never really need this stuff for a long, long time. And I also picked up, along similar lines, this all-clad electric blue clear. Now this stuff is to be used as sort of a candy coat for different colored metallic effects. And I already have a good full bottle of this color, but again, if I ever use them up, it's going to be hard to find these again, so I wanted to grab them while I could. And I might actually be using the clear blue a little more because I know that certain heat stains for thrusters and stuff look like clear blue on top of metallic, so that might be a good use for this color. It might allow me to be a little more liberal with this color. And additionally, in terms of all-clad, I've got two other things. I've got pale gold here, some color that I know Gundam UK has used a lot in his videos. Just off the top of my head, I remember him using it. And I've seen this color there a few times, but I never really committed to buying it because I didn't know if it would be quite as good as just using chrome with a gold clear coat on top. But I figured, you know, given the circumstances, it would be really nice to give this a try and just see if it was any good. And last, but definitely not least, I found this enormous bottle of all-clad chrome. This is not cheap. I mean, each single ounce bottle here is around $8 for the chrome. So just extrapolate that out about 4 times and you have a good idea how much this costs. But again, this is a situation where I will probably never, ever, ever, ever need chrome paint ever again. And again, it was just to get what I could out of the place before it was gone. I'm sure somebody would have snagged this up sooner or later. And I definitely am appreciative to have this last real parting gift of chrome paint, because this was one of the only places I've found locally that offers all-clad paints. The other alternative is just ordering it online. So this is an extra special little farewell gift for the whole situation. And there's one other sort of set of things here that all go together that I wanted to give a try. I've got here a decal printer sheet where you can actually customize a sheet of paper with your own decal scheme and print that out onto this material and make your own decals. I read all the directions, I read what it was like, and I thought I'd give it a try. So it also states that you want to apply a liquid decal film on top of these to protect and make the decals a little more sturdy so they don't wrinkle when you try applying them. I'm not exactly sure what I'll try printing out here. Again, this is more or less an experiment. If I really get interested in this, I can probably find other places to acquire this stuff, but I figured, considering, I would give this all a try, and I hope it works, because that would be really cool if I could actually just find any image I want online, basically, and make sure that it's a good enough resolution picture and all that, and then print it out on this paper. I think that would be really nice. And I also found this huge bottle of decal setting solution. Now, I know they sell a different brand of this stuff, and I have one for a decal solvent solution. It's like the final step that you apply to make your decals hug the part a little more neatly and sink into the lines. But I could not find the initial setting liquid in the same brand or the same size. So this was available for $6, but a little less than that with the sale. And again, I figure I will never ever need another drop of decal setting solution here. And hopefully it'll work just as well as the other stuff does. Again, I haven't really tried too much decal work lately because I haven't had a chance to paint anything. But that actually comes to the final point that I want to talk about in this video. I seem to be having a little bit of difficulty here with my airbrush compressor. You see, I've had this Porsche, however you pronounce it, this compressor since Christmas 2010. And the first time I used it was in the summer of 2011 when I got my first airbrush. I actually got this before I received the airbrush. I've been using it quite often or quite vigorously during the few sessions that I had it available to me during, summer months and such, up to maybe a good 2, 3, 4 hours a day sometimes in some cases. But what I noticed to be the problem now is that after this thing fills up, normally there's like a little kickback of air pressure that shoots out of here, and then everything kind of just stops. It's got an auto setting, an auto shut off, so that, once it's full, it can stop pumping air, and it can rest for a little bit and just rely on this giant air tank on here to use that stored pressure to power the airbrush. So normally there's this little initial kickback of air pressure to just cut it off, and then it sits, and it's fine. But the last time I tried it, just a few days ago, because I wanted to test out my new airbrush, I noticed and could feel and hear air hemorrhaging out of this thing. I mean, if I had the airbrush all set up and secured by the hose and just sat it there after everything had finished pumping, it would be only about another 30 seconds or so before the pump turned on again to try to refill this thing. So, I actually tried talking about this to the people at the hobby shop that was just closing down, and the best thing they could say is to contact the company that made this and see if they either can issue me a replacement piece. I don't know if I'll have to ship it back to them or what, if they can fix it or something, or if I have to purchase a brand new airbrush compressor. And if I do, that is going to be a fair bit of money thrown into this. But I don't think I can feasibly use this thing as it is anymore. So that really kind of sucks. So I will definitely have to look into what I can do about this. To be frank, I don't even know what you would call this part of the airbrush compressor. I've looked on all the documents and forms that came with the product itself, and there's really nothing to educate you about the anatomy of a compressor. So I don't know if this is a valve, a gasket, what? I mean, I have no clue. So I'm going to have to probably do a little research into how this thing is labeled so I can contact these people and actually sound like I know what I'm talking about. So this really kind of sucks, but at least I'm discovering this now, and we'll probably be able to do something about it before summer rolls around, and I want to start painting again, but then I can't because everything's all screwed up here. So I really do hope and aim to get this resolved soon enough. I guess I'll just have to do what I have to do. And I'll keep you posted on whatever happens regarding that. So, as you can tell, this video's gotten some good news and some definitely bad news. But, I guess there's always a silver lining, so, you just gotta do what you can with what you got. Anyway, I guess I've rambled on long enough, and so I thank you for watching. Glad you stuck with the video this far, if you have. And until the next time, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later, everybody.